It's Rog, live from Terminal 5 in New York City. And we are here to celebrate this incredible mystical city. It's footballing singularity. It's fan passion. It's tapestry of cultures. It's love of the game we love. We've got a lot of friends coming to the stage tonight. We got Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart coming to be with us. And we're going to celebrate this kingdom that is New York sports and what binds us, the football culture, because this is a city of dreams. I grew up in Liverpool in a very dark time for that city. And when I was a kid, I painted on my own wall the skyline of New York City. What I thought it looked like, and it was the last thing I went to bed looking at every single night. And to me, it spoke of hope and a sense of possibility where life could be lived in colour, whereas my own life in 1980s England was very much lived in black and white. And then I moved here to New York City as soon as I could after school and found that football has been in this town from the very beginning. Prepare for me to go a little bit Alice Cooper in Wayne's World on you here. But did you know, in the 1600s, the Lenape tribe played a unique form of football called parserman. There it is. By the way, I'd go and watch that, in which academics have said, this is incredible, the men were pitted against the women in a very rough and tumble game. And I'm not a betting man, but I bet the men got their behinds kicked. Football has always been part of the fabric of the place. 1840s, Charles Goodyear, the vaunted chemist who only went and invented vulcanized rubber. He began by selling soccer balls at his brother-in-law's shop in Lower Manhattan. Union soldiers played soccer for exercise on Governor's Island. They played against the prisoners there. I mean, this is Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York kind of crap. One nation, one team, Daniel. By 1885, American Football Challenge Cup was born. A team, the New York Thistles, went all the way. And they played a team in the final called ONT, which stood for Our New Threads, which was the Clark Company's latest product. I love this. Football and commercial brands joined from the hip at the very beginning. 1913, football administrators met at Lower Manhattan's Astor House, established the United States Football Association. FIFA gave it recognition, and everything's gone from there, from New York bloody city. Fast forward, the Pele era, the man who said, that he, quote, became part of New York and will forever be part of New York to 1996, when the mighty MLS was founded. And your New York, New Jersey Metro Stars. Look at him. Look at Miola doing the Cole Palmer. Look at him. Oh, Metro Stars, the Robert Zimmerman to the eventual Bob Dylan. That is your New York Red Bulls. And they were joined in 2013 when New York City FC were founded. Oh, I like to think of them as the Eli Manning to the Red Bulls Peyton. Probably, judging by this, you're the Liam to the Noel. By the way, I remember the day they were founded. I actually broke the news. I filmed with the Citigroup CEO, Ferran Soriano, and he said, I promise good, beautiful football. And now, the team are charging towards the wonder of the biggest moment in club history, coming with that stadium opening, which is so close we can touch it. Behold, first Hudson River Derby, played 2015, 2 Bradley Wright Phillips goals. I love that, man. Meant that the Red Bulls won 2-1 on that day. Yes, they played mixed Discaroods, NYCFC. Can still smell the waft of his cologne faintly over at the Upper West Side. I was there that day, and I watched my friend Dax McCarty. I asked him, what was your game plan? This was a real quote. He said it on our show. He said, New York City striker David Villa is a beautiful gazelle. I'm the lion. And I said, what's the derby? He said, it's time to feast. Which, by the way, is the spirit our US men's national team need today. Best football tactics are stolen completely from the animal planet. And talking about spirit, before we begin, we're going to have so many guests come on stage. I just want to say, before we begin, this is a night of celebration. It really is, of football in this incredible city that we all share. The teams that play in it on the men's side. We're going to bring some of the footballers to stage tonight. I know there's fans of both teams who are here in our loving arms, and I know that this is a rivalry. But I also want to say about one of the things I love most about football in this nation is that it's a fandom grounded in discovery, passion, shared love. And while I know this is a time of chaos, you may support different teams, you may be rivals outside of this room, but let's try and tap into what we share tonight. The sense of connection, which this game brings, it makes us all feel alive. It makes us, just put aside for 1 hour the urge to taunt each other, because the guests are humans who've used their time to come and be with us. So let's tap into the goodness that we share and savor the connection tomorrow. Can we do that, New York City? You guys are the best. I got to tell you, I love this city. I'm so excited to celebrate it. It's a city where if you become a champion, you become an instant icon, where sports are a way of life. They're our identity. They can be summed up, that all-consuming passion, in just 2 words: bing bong. So before we revel in its wonder, I do want to say a quick thank you to the team at Walmart who've made tonight possible. It's their investment growing the game in the United States through MLS, All Leagues Cup. That's what's dear to our hearts, getting this game bigger, more passionate, and the way they're trying to bring fans together to celebrate their teams, their players, and connect is something we want to be fully behind. By the way, Walmart has given you, in the audience, gear for match day. I think it's on your seats. God bless you. Thank you so much. Best Mart since Erdegaard. Okay. It is. Hey, I think hey, it's time to bring up our first guest tonight. I've just met them. They are beautiful human beings. One is a goalkeeper who ground his way from the mean streets of Wayne, Pennsylvania, to the Ivy League. You may know him as Harvard Donnarumma. He arrived in New York City and has made his way to become the number 1 of our US men's national team. The other is a very special human being in his own right, a New York City kid, first homegrown player for NYCFC to come from our 5 boroughs. He's a kid I first watched when he was 7 or 8 in a local gym, decimating all comers. Thrills me that he's risen up to become a professional. I know how hard he's had to work to do it. So New York, please be upstanding for the luscious locks of Justin Haak and the Iceman, Mr. Matt Freese. It's a joy to be with you both. Oh, look at that. Larger than life, in the flesh. To me, you are incredible stories. Matt, let's start with you, because your Twitter feed is one of my favorite in modern American football. First up, 2015, this. Happy birthday.
I didn't know I still had that.
Huh? I've got to ask you. First of all, I love it. Tim. God bless. It's got to catch on. But I've got to say, you look so good as a Blue. Tell us the story.
I was playing with my high school team, and we went to England to train, watch one of the games, and obviously I bought the jersey when I was at the store, and I could wear anything during the games, so wore that jersey.
That was one of the most backhanded put-downs. You could wear anything during the game, so you wore an Everton jersey. But that was what you wanted to be. You looked at that, you're like, iconic professional, if only.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, do you not look at that guy and see an iconic professional? I'm talking about the guy on the left, by the way.
Here's the story. 2017, you're actually offered the chance to chase your dream. You were invited over to England. As I say these words, I realise that this probably wasn't as difficult a decision as I'm making it seem. Manchester United offered you an apprentice contract, but instead, you turned it down. I've got to say, you dodged one there, Matt, believe me. But you decided you were going to follow in your family footsteps to study economics, right, at that famous football factory named Harvard. Can you take us into the decision? Because it's a sliding doors moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely largely a family decision. I think many parents in the crowd or just in general would agree. You have to at some point focus on your studies, and they wanted me to try it. I went for 12 months and then decided I wanted to start my professional career.
But did any part of you think Manchester United, Harvard, or were you just like?
No, it was. There were some tough conversations between me and my parents about this one. There was a clear path that I wanted to go on, but I had to respect what they wanted. They had sacrificed so much for me, so I had to repay that and honor what they wanted, and then when the time was right, make my decision for myself.
18-year-old Matt Freese slamming the bedroom door shut, saying, "Mum and Dad, you don't understand me," but that did happen.
That did happen.
You also said that you'd seen a stream of American footballers come out of this nation, and you knew that was also a pathway. You weren't shutting the door on anything in your own mind.
Yeah, I mean, during that time, Stefan was killing it in Columbus and was obviously making his big move, and that kind of laid the path for what I first saw, for myself. And then Matt Turner, obviously, a year or two later, was absolutely crushing it as well. So, there was a path that was trailblazed for me, and I wanted to be the next one up.
I like to think that you attended Harvard with the spirit Matt Damon attended Harvard in Good Will Hunting. God bless. After 2 years, you did graduate eventually, right?
Yeah.
You left to join MLS. I won't mention for who. It was the Philadelphia Union originally. But we're going to leave you there on that sour note. That's called a cliffhanger, people. Because I want to talk to you, Justin. You're an incredible human being. You are 24 now. You are New York City born and bred, right?
Yep, that's correct. That's correct.
Born on the Lower East Side?
Yep.
And grew up in?
In Bushwick, in Brooklyn.
This man played for the famous Met Oval Academy.
Yeah, from 10 to 13.
And in 2019, this is amazing, became just the third homegrown player to graduate from the City Academy to the first team, following the path of Mr. James Sands and Joe Scally. James Sands looks younger now than he did in that photo. Here's what I love about you. I have followed your career with true joy because I first saw you, my oldest kid, Samson, started to play like probably many of your kids at Chelsea Piers in five-a-side football when he was 6, 7, 8. And everybody there, every parent just believes their child is on the cusp of becoming a professional footballer. Every single one of them. It's a Thunderdome, packed with New York City kids. Hundreds of games are played at a weekend. And you were there every weekend from the morning to the night. You were always there in your goalie kit with your long hair. Let's look at you. You look like Edison Cavani's long-lost Brooklyn offspring. And your mission was to, essentially, you would just live. And if any team needed a player to fill in, that's your moment. You'd step in.
Yeah, you can see my dad's on the top left there. He was my coach. So we would just spend the whole time there all weekend, and I would play in all the games all day.
This kid was a footballing marvel from the very beginning. There were kids, by the way, there from all over the world, like incredibly fast Ghanaian kids. There was a German striker who I do believe was good enough to play for Everton, aged 8. He was that bloody good. there were French strikers who are unbelievably talented, but you stood head and shoulders above them all. You'd play in goal, and then you'd just like choose your moment to dribble out and score a goal. Honestly, the only person I've seen like it was Maradona 1986 against England. But you do it like not just once. He only did it once, right? You do it over and over and over. What do you remember about those days?
Pretty much exactly what you said, being the best player. No, I mean, I just remember spending all my time there with all my friends, playing the game that I love, and thankfully it worked out.
What did you dream about then, though, dude?
At the time, just being a professional soccer player, we didn't have a team in the 5 boroughs yet. Thankfully, that came at the right time, and I was able to join.
Because I watch a lot, and I do want you to know the joy 8-year-old you gave me, gave all of us who watched you. It was like an unforgettable, transcendent footballing memory. But we also know the odds of becoming a professional footballer are minute. Like, you can be incredible aged 8, but the journey to professional, to the pros, so immensely slim. I think it's something like 0.05% of academy players make it through. Just in what quality, other than just your natural transcendent ability, do you think helped you make it to the professional that you are now?
Yeah, I think it's what a lot of professional athletes have, just discipline and hard work. Like we already said, I was spending all my time there playing, and without that discipline to do that every single weekend and train every day, I wouldn't be where I am now.
You did make it. All the struggle, all the sacrifice, all the goals dunked on my child. You made your debut for NYCFC against Cincinnati, June 2019. You've not changed, man. I bet you had your goalie shirt on underneath that still, right? NYCFC won 5-2. And who came up to speak to you after the game? This is a proper New York City moment. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola, take us there. What did it feel like? What did he say?
Yeah, I mean, it was already such a special moment for me making my debut. And then once Pep came in the locker room, I was a little bit shocked. And then he told me in this moment, just congrats on your debut. And I didn't say anything back because I was just a little bit shocked.
You did make it. I've loved watching you make it. But Matt, your career has also been one of overcoming challenge after challenge. You were constantly underrated, and you've gone from there to the stratosphere right now as we sit here. You arrived at NYCFC in 2023. Remember what we talked about? It's Matt Turner's family who just did the booing. Come on, it's all be nice. We've all watched you evolve into a natural shot stopper who's worked so hard to build that distribution, the footwork that the modern game demands. It did feel like for the longest time the US team were going to overlook you, but then you were handed your chance, June 7th against Turkey A, and you've not looked back. 9 caps, 3 clean sheets, 1 majestic penalty shootout, 3-save wonder against Costa Rica. The World Cup's 266 days away, but who's counting, right? do you feel your identity has changed this past 4 months? Have you found like a new sense of self through this 9-cap journey?
I mean, I wouldn't say a new sense of self, but I think, inherently, when you get those experiences, your confidence, don't start. I think inherently Justin, you want to answer this one?
He hasn't changed a bit. Super humble guy.
Thank you.
Is that true? You told me that he doesn't allow you to look him in the eye anymore.
No, he screams at me more than ever now.
Go on, you've not changed.
No, I mean, I think a little bit, you get some confidence, get different experience, but, the same grind and the same energy that you put in, same discipline that you put in to get you to that moment and get you to that point is what you need to, keep doing.
But now you've done this in a US jersey, do you carry that with you everywhere you go?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think there is a sense of honor that comes with that. but there's also a sense of, it felt pretty dang good, and I want to do it again.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I think we all do, right? I mean, you are both remarkable human beings in your own right. I mean, you are both like Malcolm Gladwell's theories come to life as footballers. Justin, the 10,000 hours that you put in. Matt, I mean, you've talked about Gladwell's book, Outliers, about how you need talent, hard work, but also fortune along the way. New York City has played an incredible role in both of your lives, your journeys. Justin, can you put into words, as a New York City-bred kid, what role has it played in making who you are as a footballer?
Yeah, I mean, for me, spending my whole life here in this city is really just taught me the passion that they all have, the hard work that goes into being able to live in this city, whether it's in sports or just everyday life, the hustle you have in New York, and that's something I try to take to my own life every day.
Amen. Amen. By the way, that is advice for football and advice for life. And it tees us up because, Matt, I think you got some news to share with this room tonight that I believe is going to make everybody who loves football in this nation and MLS feel incredibly happy. Matt.
Yeah, pretty excited very excited to announce that I signed a new contract that'll run until the end of 2030.
Oh, Matt Freese here until 2030, which is a huge moment. I've got to be candid, for your family, for your club. Third most guaranteed money for a goalkeeper in MLS history. Just say you've got a good agent, as well as a good goalkeeper coach, Matt. And I know you had interest from a number of European sides. So can you put into words how you made this decision? Different than the last one, but you've decided to stay in this city, to commit to it and thrive here.
Yeah, I mean, I really believe in what we have going here. You can especially see in the last few weeks, just so much growth that we have, and I'm really excited to continue that growth and continue my development on the field and in the locker room in such an amazing city.
It is incredible to have you here. I do want to be clear, this is a beautiful moment, I think, for everyone that cares about the future of the US team. But last question for you both. We are on rivalry eve. Can you put into words how the Hudson River Derby, how it feels different to just another game?
Yeah, I mean, just when you play a team that's so close to you, we played them so many times, a bunch of good games against them. I think especially losing to them in the playoff last year left a little bit of a sour taste. So we're super motivated for this game, and we're ready to keep the good run going.
Yeah, and I think, anytime you step on the field, you play for the fans, and when the fans are specifically focused and enthusiastic about one game, then by nature, the team's going to care even more about that game.
Godspeed. I'd just say, Justin, when you're playing, just do the thing you did at Chelsea Piers, where you just decide, sod it, I'm going to dribble out, I'm going to take on all comers, no one can stop me now, I'm going to score. New York City, please be upstanding for the quite magical Justin Haak and the number one, Mr. Matt Freese. Matt Freese and Justin Haak. Okay, it's time to Red Bull it up. And my next guest is a remarkable footballer, a man who comes from an almost biblical lineage of ballers. His grandfather and his father both played at GIF Sundsvall in Sweden. His own career began there at 17. I just love that origin story. He had 9 years at your sister club, RB Leipzig, where he became part of the fabric, really the DNA of the club, all buzzing intensity, a tangle of spin moves, bangers, oh my God, and deeply covetable long blonde locks. New York, please be upstanding for the captain of your New York Red Bulls, Mr. Emil Forsberg! Oh, Emil, you have been in our city for nearly 2 years now. What is it that you have enjoyed most about life here as opposed to, say, Leipzig?
The bagels.
This is a man who is very, very serious about his bagels. I read an interview with you where you talked with passion. You have an order for in the store, and you have an order for when you're eating privately at home.
Yeah.
Can you just tell the people how you do your bagel? Because it's like the most Swedish thing that ever bageled.
Yeah, so I gotta bring a little bit of that Swedish tradition here, but I put pepperoni, peppers, and cream cheese on my bagel, and it's delicious.
Try it at home, honestly. It's like the Henrik Larsson, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and Freddie Lundberg of bagel combos. I could do a whole show about bagels. Big shout out to Essa Bagel, am I right? But we are here to talk about, like, bagels is New York's biggest passion. I think its passion for sports is just underneath. You know, you've been here a long enough time. You've engaged with the many sporting offerings here. You've lived them on the field. How would you describe sporting fandom here, New York fandom, which I think is one of the most singular in the world?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. I think it's unbelievable. I think the passion for the team is incredible, and you love to see it. And it brings the best out of yourself as well when you go onto that pitch. But yeah, I mean, the passion, the love they have for their team is incredible. And I think everybody feels that way about their team. They want them to do good.
I love watching you play. And I want to show you a quite singular moment. July this year, ball casually comes to your edge of the area. There appears to be no danger. And then you go and do this.
Sands missed it. Shepshevsky Hall, Yengor, Forsberg, the turn! A summer blockbuster from Emil Forsberg!
That's just a one-man pick and roll. In moments like that, Emil, what goes through your mind, or is it just like you watch it later and then you think about it?
I think it comes to you in the moment. You feel your opponent in your back or where they ever are, and then you shoot a little bit from the hip. You go by instinct a little bit, and I had a good instinct of taking that ball inside and shoot it. Last
season, the club made it to MLS Cup final. It was propelled by an incredible run. Emil's return from injury, and then that quite magnificent slogan, which I'm paraphrasing to, sod it, why not us? But now you are, quote, 200% back. This season's been a grittier experience. Can you talk about where you are now and what this team to do to make this campaign a playoff one?
First of all, we got to win our games. I think it's important that we realize how important it is to make the playoffs, and we need to focus on the next game, the next practice, and it's our duty towards our fans as well to do it. So it's very important for us to make the playoffs, and the season has been a little bit of a roller coaster. I think away games, we've been letting points go too easily, too many mistakes, and if you make mistakes, you get punished. So that's been a little bit the saga of the season.
But last year, ahead of the Hudson River Derby, your Red Bulls ultimately beat NYCFC 2-0 in the playoffs. After the game, you said, I think a lot of people should apologize to us now for underestimating us. Do you feel people are still underestimating this team this season?
I mean, at that time, I think everybody counted us already against Columbus, so it was a little bit towards that. But yeah, I mean, I believe in my team. I think we have a great team. I think we could do big things, but the most important thing is to show that on the pitch, and it starts on Saturday, so it's going to be important to get 3 points.
God bless. Emil, the World Cup is coming to American shores. Again, who's counting? 266 days. You know World Cups. You scored the goal that put Sweden into the 2018 World Cup quarterfinals for the first time in nearly a quarter of a century. You've lived it. You've made memories for your nation. So can you tell us, what does the 2026 World Cup have in store? The final is going to be right here in New York City. How will it change the profile of football across North America, MLS as a league, and our city in particular?
Oh, I think it's going to be incredible. I'm sure of it. I think also for the final to be here in New York, it's going to be incredible. For everybody soccer interested all over the world to come to USA and experience the World Cup, I can't imagine it's going to be any better than it's going to be. I think it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody.
God willing, from your mouth to God's ear. Emil, I will say it's been a joy to be with you. You're a beautiful human being.
You too.
But, yeah, I'm the worst. But you, one of us is European footballing royalty. And you really could have gone anywhere in the world when you had that decision to come here. I mean, you are an accomplished veteran that's done it, seen it all. You've got a black belt in leadership. And you chose to come here, to this club, to this city. When you decide to enter the next chapter, whatever you do, what do you hope to take from this New York spell of your career, which has been fantastic to witness?
No, I mean, when I came, I wanted to make us better. I wanted to make the club better. I want to win. That's the reason why I came, and I'm not gonna stop until I do it. So that's my passion, and I think we have it in us to do it. But we gotta believe, we gotta do a lot of stuff better. But I'm sure we have the quality to do it. And like I said, I'm not gonna stop until I win.
This might be the most New York Swedish New Yorker that has ever New York Swedish New Yorked. Emil, huge tack on behalf of all of New York City. Let's hear it for Mr. Emil Forsberg. Emil Forsberg! I've been looking forward to my next guest all week long. He's a gent who, as a player, was very much like an American Jason Statham. I'm not just saying this because I'm a bald man, but he was a fellow bald who would kick ass and make all those around him feel ultimately safe and full of hope. It was all about his physical commitment, his mental tenacity. He was a virtual security blanket for any team he played on, simmering away at the Hart, especially for the US national team. 151 caps, third most men's all-time, second most assists, started every game at the 2010-2014 World Cup. Age 38, I've loved watching this, taking on a new role as head coach of New York Red Bulls 2, Electric Boogaloo. I lived with a team ahead of the 2014 World Cup. I shot the Hard Knocks for ESPN. And when I did, I always loved to interview him because he was just like a truth teller who would just tell you in good times and bad what it really was all about. So it's great to welcome him to the stage tonight. New York City, please be upstanding for Mr. Michael Bradley. Michael Bradley, you beautiful man. Can I say, first of all, congratulations. You were honored recently. By the way, for me, it took too long for this to occur. Ahead of the South Korea game at Harrison, New Jersey, 151 US men's national team appearances between the two of us. You captained the team in 48 of those games. To stand there with your wife and your daughter, can you tell us what went through your mind as you stood there? What did you think about? Was there a particular memory, or were you just like, let me suit up again, I got to get back on the field?
Honestly, Roger, I didn't need it. I enjoyed every second that I had representing the national team, and I never took 1 second for granted. But when U.S. Soccer came to me with the idea and the honor, ultimately, for me, that day was about my family, and that day was about the people who supported me every step along the way. And so to be able to share the day with them, that part was really special.
By the way, for those of you too young to have seen this man play football, let me just say, this gent played with a ferocity, with a sense of competitive fire. Honestly, the like of which we've rarely produced on the men's side. I remember interviewing you in Denver in the hotel the night before the Snow Classico. You were playing in the peak of your form. You were playing for Roma. And I asked you the simple question. I said, can you believe that you, a kid from New Jersey, are starring in a Serie A midfield, and you just leant in? You had your hotel key in your hand, Michael, and you cut the air as you said each of these words. You said to me, I'm not done. I want to be a big player who makes big plays in big games for big teams. You kind of slice the air in front of you with each of them. It's really stayed with me because in that moment, I felt like I saw the dream which drove you every minute on the playing field, right?
Yeah, look, I loved the game. I was lucky. I got to live my dream. Growing up in New Jersey, I would have killed for one opportunity to play for the national team. I would have killed for one game in Serie A. I would have killed for one big night under the lights, and I was lucky. I got a lot of them, and so I enjoyed every second, took advantage, tried to push myself as hard as I could always, and I made the most of every chance. You
really did, Michael. You were one of the most defiant footballers in really a golden moment for all of us who dream about the game, and tonight is about rivalries. And you know more about rivalries than pretty well any other American on the men's side. You know what it takes to thrive in the crucible in a rivalry situation. Let me take you to 2017, to the Azteca, when this man stepped in front of Chicharito and did this.
De la playera, cuidado, acá se pierde. Bradley! ¡Golazo! ¡Golazo de Michael Bradley! Sí, un error muy garrafal de Chicharo. Recibir la pelota a espalda, se quiere apoyar. Bradley la lee muy bien.
The thin air at Azteca helped me.
Well, if it was in America, it would have dropped 10 yards before the goal and Ochoa just would have casually picked it up.
Would have changed the calculation a little bit.
All of your lives would have been incurably different, but it was a work of art, that goal. I mean, first of all, the speed at which you were running combined with the most delicate of chips. I mean, it's an incredible technique. Did you know beforehand, had you seen Ochoa pushed up? Did you think about it in the moment, or was it just muscle memory kicking in?
Yeah, that was just split second. When I was able to intercept the ball in midfield, and then the ball was out in front of me a little bit. As I was running onto it, I saw Ochoa off the line, and I thought, let's go for it.
I do want you to know, I think for so many of us, that was just an exquisite United States memory of the last 20 years. It did feel in that moment, watching it, I remember it felt like anything was possible. And I think it felt for all of us in those moments. Do you think about that? I'm a man who has recurring dreams, just mostly failing exams, just missing deadlines. Does that come? Do you think about? Sometimes you're just sitting there in New Jersey and you're like, oh.
No, the only thing I think about these days is what we're going to do in training tomorrow morning.
That's called a pivot. I do want to know, in that moment, what did that feel like, man? I mean, this is a rivalry goal. A goal like that, scored in a rivalry like that, feels... Can you complete that sentence?
Oof, no. US-Mexico games were special. You felt the history, you felt the passion, you felt you felt it, every bit of it, and you felt the emotion, the rivalry. There was a sense of how to carry that on. I can remember watching the first US-Mexico game in Columbus. I can remember when Josh Wolf and Ernie Stewart scored. I can remember waking up in the middle of the night and watching the game in South Korea. And so, like, that stayed with you. And so when you got your chance to step on the field, and it was US-Mexico, and it was their green jerseys, and it was Azteca, you felt all of that. And so when you had your chance, you know, I think we all understood the responsibility that went with that, and yeah, we gave everything we had.
Think about that next time you watch that goal. I watch that goal whenever I feel sad, and it lifts my spirits. But it's about the dreams we had. And you are now dedicating your life to seeding those once again, because on the 12th of June this year, you return to this club, the New York Red Bulls. Place where it all began for you. You began as a player here in 2004. I've got to say, I am so bloody excited to see you coach Michael Bradley. But can you talk about the decision for you to dedicate the next chapter of your life to this pursuit, to these people? A lot of players find that coaching transition natural. A lot find it much easier just to, start a podcast. Can you talk about what it is with your mentality? I mean, I know you as a perfectionist, like as someone that obsesses about details, that wanted to devote themselves to growing the next generation of footballers in New York City.
Look, the starting point for me is I love the game. I love being on the field every day. I love being a part of a team. I love the part of, being in a group that's trying to do something special. And so as I was getting towards the end of my playing career, for me, it was almost natural that was going to be the next step. I grew up in a house with a coach, and so I learned from a really young age what it meant to work hard, what it meant to commit to your team, to your players, to do everything you can to help improve them. And so for me, again, when I got to the end of my playing career, I knew that was what I wanted to do. And so, I finished playing I played my last game in Toronto on a Saturday night, and I was on the training field in Norway on Tuesday morning. And I needed that because it meant that I didn't have any time to even stop and think about not playing anymore. And so I was able to, I used the year in Norway as an assistant coach for my dad and learned a lot and got really good experience. And then when that finished, I was really lucky because things fell into place, and I'm really appreciative of the opportunity that Red Bull have given me in terms of now as a young coach, having a team of my own every day to work with, to develop my ideas, my way of working, my way of engaging a group, and I'm enjoying every second.
One of the things I'm most fascinated about Red Bull's system is the influence of the great Jurgen Klopp, who is now head coach of global soccer for the Red Bull organization. He's a remarkable man. I feel so lucky in my life to have spent time with him. And every time I spent time with him, I learned so much about football, but mostly I learned about life. Can you talk about your time with Jurgen Klopp and the most important lessons you've taken from those interactions?
I mean, the thing that you take from any time that you spend with Jurgen is his passion for the game, his passion for life. He has so much energy, and obviously now for all of us inside Red Bull, his vision for what Red Bull and Red Bull football is going to be going forward. That's what excites me. That's what I wake up for. And can't wait to get to the training ground and now, get on the field and find a way to bring that to life. And so it's, exciting times for Red Bull, for the club. And like I said, as a young coach, for me, the time that I've been able to spend with him has been incredible.
I'm very fond of another coach, your dad, the legendary Bob Bradley. An incredible American. I do actually think Bob Bradley is one of the most courageous coaches that America has produced, to be candid. It's his spirit of adventure, his willingness to put himself out of his comfort zone, his willingness to put him out there. I admire it more than I can say. And he remains one of only 2 Americans in our nation's history to coach a Premier League team, which is crazy to say. The other, the great Jesse Marsh. So what is the dream for you? What do you imagine, Michael? What's the end goal for Michael Bradley as a coach? As a player, you told me you want to be a big player on a big team, making big plays in big games, which I loved and I think about all the time. As a coach, what does that translate through to you? What do you dream about?
Look, I'm still a young coach, so the first part is just, every day enjoying it and finding the right ways to grow, to improve, to develop myself, And then there's the part which is every day. How can I the 22 players that I have in my group, how can I help them? How can I make them better? And how can I make us a better team when we get our chance to play on the weekend? And that's obviously that's the day to day. In the bigger picture, look, I'm proud of the career that I had as a player. As I said, I enjoyed every second. I never took one thing for granted. But at this point, for me, the dream, I want to do everything I can to be a better coach than I was player.
Oh, I thought you were going to drop the bomb on us there and tell us where you were going, which is TBD. But let me ask you in a different way. Last question for you, Michael. The Red Bulls is very much your home, and it's very poetic watching you move back here. It's like seeing a salmon swim back upstream. I mean, it's very healing. 2004, this is a picture of you at MLS Superdraft. Look at that. That is a 16-year-old kid signing, the youngest signing in club history then. If you could go back in time, Michael Bradley, the coach, what's the one word of advice you'd give that kid, Michael Bradley, the rookie teen, that he'd need to know about all there is to come?
Honestly, Roger, I was lucky. I had a lot of good people around me, and the advice that they gave me was the stuff that stuck with me. It was to enjoy every second, to push like crazy, to never settle. To always want more, but to take the time along the way to appreciate where you are. And I can remember doing that at in so many moments along the way in my career.
Actively, you made those memories.
Yeah, I mean, I said this last week when I was doing some stuff around the national team game, where I can remember walking out onto the field an hour and a half before the game. In Rustenburg before the first World Cup game in 2010, US England. And I can remember walking out on the field, and it was, again, there was nobody in the stadium, but I can remember looking around and thinking to myself, this is unbelievable. I'm about to play in a World Cup. And so I think for anybody in life, the ability to push yourself, the ability to give everything you have, the ability to never settle, always want more, you have to have that. But you're also, it's life. You got to enjoy it. You have to appreciate where you are, and also always take a second, look around. So I like I said, I had people who loved me from the very beginning, who gave me good advice, and I lived by that every step along the way.
Michael Bradley, I want to thank you. Michael has kind of articulated what I think is the best parenting advice. It's difficult, but savor every single second and make memories while you can. He lived it as a footballer. I want to tell you, I loved watching you as a player. I really did. What you brought to our country was remarkable, and what you can now bring as a coach in our hour of need is so thrilling for me to witness. I think for everybody in this room, I love watching you. To your family, to your future, New York, be upstanding for one of your own. It's Mr. Michael Bradley. Okay, it's time. For our final guest, it's incredible to be joined by two gentlemen who embody the hustle and tenacity of this incredible city. One is a relentless, incredibly soulful tempo setter who will take an elbow to the face and bounce back better than The Undertaker. Might be single-handedly keeping Mike and Ike's in business, and by the way, he's proper Chelsea. The other is a blur of knees and elbows. He's got a jumper that's as lethal as his Lego building abilities. Both are at the heart of the NBA's most eternally optimistic franchise, New York City. Put your hands together for Bodego Cat and J Hart, Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
Yes, sir, there we go.
Love it.
Let's just do this for 20 minutes, by the way. I'm like,
I think they
vibing.
ready. I think they ready.
They think I'm going to drop 40 points on the Celtics, and I'm kind of ready to right now. I've got to be candid. Josh Hart, it's so bloody good to have you here in the flesh, man. I've got to tell you, the last time we chatted, you were playing for another team in the other Portland. But you were not yet a father. Since we spoke, you have had twins, Hayes and Hendricks.
Yep.
And I need to know, what's been the bigger lifestyle change? Moving to New York City or raising kids?
Biggest change, for sure, kids. New York feels like home. Yeah, New York feels like home. The kids are little menaces, man. One goes one way, one goes the other. So I got a lot more patient.
The good test for your D.
Who said that? That is great. Shout out to you.
Speaking of kids in New York, Kat, you grew up just across the river.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
I told you I'd keep it kosher, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But you grew up across the river in New Jersey, in Piscataway.
Yes, yes,
Is anyone here from Jersey?
yes. I love that. I love that.
You grew up as a fan of the Knicks in the 90s, Stephon Marbury days, Jamal Crawford, Eddie Curry. By 5th grade, you were already over 6 feet tall. You're already training with some Piscataway tech.
Boy, okay.
Come on, you Raiders!
You never see that photo?
I mean,
Nah, I never see that.
that
Don't
is
bring
a
that up on the
photo.
podcast, I swear. Don't do that.
When you look at that, what do you think?
I needed some facial hair and some aura, some swag. But it's all good. We found out later.
Can you put into words, though, that kid
Yeah.
across the river,
Yeah.
you knew what football, you knew what basketball, sorry.
Oh,
I'm like
there we go. There we go. Okay.
I'm like on Michael Bradley mode, baby. But you knew what basketball represents in
Nah,
New
for
York
sure.
City.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what the dreams you had of this city at that age in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who knows my journey and knows my story, I've grew up a Knicks fan. So, appreciate it. So, you know, and also having my father play basketball here, Big East man, and then also have a chance to make the team for the Knicks. Didn't make it, you know, career-ending injury, but I'm happy now that things come in full circle that he finally gets to see that Towns on the back of a Knicks jersey. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Biblical, baby. What about you, Josh? You grew up just down 95 in Silver Spring, Maryland. There he is. God bless. He's not changed.
Who looks more like themselves from younger, me or Josh? Who you think? Josh? I agree. Now go back to the other one. There we go. Leave it there.
Oh my God. You both look like formative versions of yourselves,
Yeah.
but the DMV is another incredibly rich basketball tradition. How did you view New York hoops from afar? What did it mean to you, this kind of magical kingdom just simmering there?
Yeah, growing up in the DMV, man, obviously we had so many talented guys, but I felt like there was only one place that probably had more talent, and that was like the tri-state area, obviously New York and Jersey. I put them all together.
Yeah. Look at that.
And they just have so much talent, so much, just swag to them. So obviously, growing up, you knew like, okay, New York, and that's the mecca of basketball. So it was always a dream, obviously, to be here. I wasn't 6'8" as a freshman or whatever like Cat was, but
6'8".
yeah, you were like 6'8". I was like 5'8". The dream was to play here, but I never thought it was going to happen. But now we're here.
You grew up watching George Morrison play for the Bullets. Those were the days.
I wasn't that old. I don't. I'm not that. I was watching like Antoine Jameson, Gilbert, Caron Butler, those guys. So Brendan Haywood, Sean Stevenson, some guys.
And then you rose up to the Villanova of the Wildcats.
Mm-hmm.
You played in Los Angeles, you played in New Orleans, you played in Portland, you arrived here in 2023. I was so bloody happy when you arrived in my city because I adore how you carry yourself. I adore how you approach the world. I really do. You're a man who's seen it all. You are quite a singular human being. And then you arrive in this singular city. Can you talk about how you feel the mood in this entire city shifts according to sports wins and losses? Does it feel different to you to the other stops along the way?
Oh, 100%. Obviously, LA was cool. It was fun. It was early in my career. New Orleans, we struggled. Portland, we struggled. But there's nothing like basketball in the Garden. You ain't lying. As they know, once you hit March, April, weather starts getting a little warmer. Playoff basketball, is around the corner. And there's a fire in this city like no other place in the country. So it's basketball different here.
A fire in this city like no other place,
Yep.
and I adore that. I really do. And you'd seen that from afar. And tonight's show is about the passion and the fandom of this city. I mean, you now play in the place that you dreamed of. And I do often watch you play and think about what does it mean for your family? You said of your mum, this is an amazing quote. By the way, you should win the Pulitzer Prize for poetry. I do want to be quite clear. You said Madison Square Garden to her was the Mecca. To our family, it's always been the Mecca. To be able to play in a place that was so revered by my mother, obviously, it strikes a different emotion. Yeah. Again, you played elsewhere. When you finally arrive, what does it feel like to step on that floor and to call this your home?
I mean, it's special. It's special. There's no other words to it. Like you said, she always told me how magical Madison Square Garden was, and only the icons and the legends and the best of the best play there. And, growing up for her, immigrating from Dominican Republic, didn't have the money to go to MSG to play. Yo, shout out, appreciate you. And, for me to have a moment now where I don't need to spend money to go to MSG, but I get to play at MSG is something super special. So, it's expensive, trust. I know, that's why I'm happy. I get to go there for free.
I do think you talk about what's special, both of you, and you talk about the fans. And I do hope that future academics will study the quite unique fandom of New York City, especially for the Knicks. Let me play a video that explains exactly what I mean.
Bing bong! Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks! Let's go Knicks!
That's pretty well that all could pass the test from the voluminous hours of incredible side talk clips for tonight's family audience. But by the way, we had cut like a minute and a half, and that's all that passed the editor's muster, which is about the greatest tribute to side talk clips that there can be. But I want to know, do you guys ever watch side talk clips in the locker room? Yeah. What does it make you feel? Because when I watch it, like my basketball is at Shaquille O'Neal three-throw shooting levels, but I feel like I could shoot 40 points at the Garden when I watch that.
I don't even know. That's not even from this season, right?
Nah,
that's how crazy they've been. It's
they're
in the making.
Yeah, after every playoff game, those wins, they go out there and show love, and that's one thing I think we've always talked about. We always see them And we're like, one time we got to go out there. We can't go out there winning a game in the first round or something, but it's like Eastern Conference finals, we got to go out there.
Yeah.
So, it's a vibe, man. They have fun, and we want them to have fun. We want them to have as much fun and excitement around Knicks basketball as they can.
We got to give them something to cheer for, though.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, so.
I just want to say, those side talk clips are, like, to me, it's like the greatest New York cinema since Mean Streets by Scorsese. But Karl, you are an incredible manifestation of this city's true roots to me. It's why I love watching you play. After you won the Eastern Conference Finals, you said this. You said, "This is for my brothers who were with me at Gaucho's gym and Rucker Park from my Dominicans in Washington Heights." By the way, sounds so much better out of your mouth than my idiot English mouth. By the way, but if you were football, and you know this, Madison Square Garden would stand up every night and chant, "He's one of our own, he's one of our own, the big bodega, he's one of our own," which he invented, the nickname given here right by this man. And I love it because it's so bloody New York City. And I want to hear you say, how much pride does it give you that you don't just represent the bright lights, big bling side of New York, but the true hustle, the real boroughs, the real New York?
I mean, you know, I just grew up in this area and being able to, like I said, when I said that after the game, it's true. You know, I grew up at the grassroots of New York basketball. I've been part of the grassroots of basketball. So Gauchos, he loves Rucker Park and all that. Like, I grew up like playing in those parks, and you hope for that one time you could take one of those shots at Madison Square Garden. You know, you seeing Patrick Ewing, you seeing Karl-Anthony now. Shout out to Melo, Hall of Famer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you in the park, you playing, you thinking about like those times you pray one day, you know, you could just shoot a basketball on Madison Square Garden on the floor that so many legends have walked on. And for us to not only be able to do that, but to only make our own history on that court. I mean, like you said, it's manifestation. I thought about these moments my entire life. I always thought that I would have this moment. I didn't know if it would come when I was in Minnesota, but now, you know, being here and being able to say I've been able to, you know, have those moments, I'm truly blessed. I'm honored, and it's true. You know, when you think of something enough and you pray for it to happen, and things, you know, you just manifest enough. You know, anything's possible, and I think that I hope that I could just be an example of that.
You do feel that. You feel that kind of almost like biblical lineage, the Patrick Ewing, the Karl-Anthony. Like as a New York kid who'd watch that from afar, you're living that. You feel that with every dribble, every shot, every...
You feel the history. I mean, Josh could speak to it more. I mean, he has more time here than I had, but last year was a magical season. It was something, you know, to have that first moment in Madison Square Garden. Absolutely. To do something that hasn't been done in 25 years, to do it with my brothers. I just, you know, and then to see the excitement that New York had and the respect they showed us. I was telling someone the other day, you know, obviously everyone knows that we get paid to do this job, but the currency that's the most important here in New York is respect. And I feel that we've earned that respect. And that's the most important thing. No money can earn that here in New York. So, you know, I think, you know, we've done an amazing job last year setting the foundation, and it's up to us this year now to build on that foundation. And 25 years, they haven't seen Eastern Conference Finals. It's our job to take them even farther than this year.
Karl-Anthony Towns, you're an incredible human being. Josh Hart, I mean, you are next level. I mean, we just had Thierry Henry on the show. That man loves New York City.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, he said he loved playing in New York. He said, because fans would let me know what's what. That's called a pivot in the trade, because I do want to touch upon quickly, football is a game that you love. You've made the mistake of coming on our show before. You are proper Chelsea. And before we get into my many, I thought we were all friends here tonight. Let's hear it for the Knicks.
So we all could agree on something.
There you go. That's called diversion. And I love you people for letting me do that. Because I want to ask you, why Chelsea? when so many other teams, namely Everton, were available?
Yeah, well, I mean, what she said, why not, man? We won everything. So, honestly, it started, I've been a diehard, really dedicated fan and supporter since probably 16, 17. But before that, I think it was the 2010 World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, the years we talked about it. But I actually found myself supporting England. I was supporting England. I'm giving y'all why. I'm a Chelsea guy, and
I'm like the most American man ever, and you're supporting England.
I was supporting England.
New York Knicks.
I'm just saying, man. I was supporting England, and my two favorite players on that squad was Frank Lampard and John Terry, and obviously they're proper Chels, and I kind of went over there and started supporting them, and just kind of took off. So London's blue, and y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it is.
You know what? I am gonna try and diffuse this before a riot kicks off here. I've been into dark terrain. I do want to say this man is so proper Chelsea. On Twitter, he's almost if there's Chelsea Reddit, he's almost running Chelsea Reddit. He is proper into it, and we will talk more about it in safer terrains. By the way, this is him on his honeymoon. Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, I was, this is my beautiful wife, Shannon. So, man, I was cleaning out my closet from our house in Miami, and I just started seeing all the Chelsea shirts that I had, and it was the Hazards and Willian, Mount, obviously the guys now, Palmer, those guys. I probably had 25, 30 Chelsea shirts, man. So, it's go Blues, man.
This is Como. This is not cleaning out
Shannon
your
about
closet.
to come out here and whoop his I swear. Yo.
But Shannon's proper Arsenal.
Hell no.
I do.
She ain't in my house doing that.
I do want to say.
Oh, it's your house.
Yeah, it's a Chelsea house. It's a Chelsea household, man. My kids got no choice but to be Chelsea, Knicks, and Commanders. So that's the three, man. I know.
Hey, Shannon, relax. You got scared? Why you get so?
Do you know that feeling when a show spirals away from you? I'm living that in this moment. I'm not going to do the New York Knicks thing again, but New York Knicks! We got a lot to discuss. I need to get us onto safe terrain. We're living in an era when so many NBA players have fallen in love with football. And at the same time, football is falling in love with the NBA. I mean, it's hard to watch you guys play at the Garden without the likes like Marcus Rashford, Musiala, Michael Olise, Vinicius Jr. I mean, when you meet these human beings, what are the conversations like? Is it just a jersey swap, or is it game respect game?
I think it's a mutual respect. To see them be great at their sport, and for them to come to our house and to see us do what we do best. There's just such a mutual respect. They're killing it in their craft and on the pitch, and for us on the court, we're trying to do our best to show New York and all the NBA fans that we're the best of the best. So I think there's just a lot of mutual respect from there.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Obviously, seeing those guys and talking to them a little bit after, but some of those guys we talked about, Marcelo comes up, and he's there pregame watching us warm up, so you get to talk to him. And
they're more than Spike Lee.
Yeah. Reese James was there, the captain. So you get to talk to these guys, man. I gotta. It's a soccer podcast, man. I gotta talk about Chelsea. But no, it's super dope to have those guys come to our games, and obviously the crossover. You got more NBA guys diving into European football with obviously the Premier League and La Liga and those kind of things. So it's a fun crossover.
It's also working the other way with the reverse commute. Kat, there's so many NBA stars who've fallen in love with football. I mean, not just Josh Hart. I mean, we now have a show on our network with Larry Nance Jr., who lives for the game and owns a little piece of a Premier League club. We've had Alex Caruso, Joel Embiid, TJ McConnell, Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah.
I mean, you are someone who is football curious, I'd say. You've been to PSG, you've seen it. How do you understand the way football culture's integrated into the NBA? And when you watch certain players' footwork, like Wemby, are you like, man, I wish I played a little bit more football in my youth?
First of all, shout out to the fellow NBA players, showing their love for football. I mean, that's the most important thing. And, like you said, I think there's just such a mutual respect. I think that there's both of us, soccer players, football players for me also, but basketball players, everyone wants to try to see their greatness, that what makes them so great. And I think it's also awesome when you get to watch a soccer game and you get to see them play and you get to see them be great and to see why they're so highly regarded. I think that's what makes sports so fun. You want to see the best of the best play, and for the best of the best to have such respect for what we do, it means a lot.
I mean, we are 305 days away from seeing the best of the best play the World Cup final in this very city, which will be played in. By the way, I love Cat. Jersey.
I'm just making sure. I gotta have my shout out. Thank you.
Just like, it's going to be in Jersey. I'm not sure FIFA knows it's going to be in Jersey. But it's gonna be in Jersey. I mean, Josh, you've been following the sport the better part of a decade. You really have. You are all in. We've talked about it. You are in it deep. What does this World Cup summer mean to you? What are you going to be doing? And how do you think it's going to change the profile of the game in this nation?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to try to go to as many matches as I can. But, anyone knows if you go, to Europe and you go to those matches, it's a different kind of intensity. And then it's even heightened when it's the World Cup and those guys are representing the country. So I think it's going to be an amazing experience for, everyone here, but more importantly, the youth here that are playing soccer, that now they get to see these guys, close up and see the skill, see the passion, and that's going to continue to drive football here. And, I think it's something that's going to take it to another level. And obviously, we've made strides in the last 15 years. I still root for the U.S. guys. I'm just saying, I still do.
Save himself 15 minutes
later.
later.
I still do. But no, it's going to be fun for the U.S. to really be exposed to that, and for generations to come, they're going to see that, and they're going to aspire to be on the pitch, representing the country.
Hayes and Hendricks World Cup 2042.
Hey, I would love it. They got they got like 3 or 4 choices. They got like baseball, basketball, soccer, or golf. They not touching the actual American football field. They not touching it. So they got those 4 to pick from. So we'll see.
They got to pick 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They can win up 2 out of 3 of those beauties. Last question for both of you.
And before you go, I want to give a shout out to the MLS too, because the MLS, absolutely. I think the work they're doing is amazing, and I think the World Cup's more special and it's taken more serious now because the MLS has shown America what soccer really looks like and can feel like. So, shout out to them.
God bless you, Kat. By the way, this gentleman is a prophet, is all I'm going to tell you. This man is a poet and a wine connoisseur. I want you to know I buy 2 out of every 5 bottles of wine that you pop up on Instagram. This man is a prophet, is all I will tell you. And I think you have glimpsed the future, which makes me want to ask you my last question. One thing that I think everybody who's been on this stage tonight shares is a sense that they represent this city, your city, New York City. They represent the bright lights. They represent a mythical place, a place where you can become great. But more than that, you can become iconic. You've mentioned some of the human beings that inspire you. You both have a chance to be in that pantheon. Can you describe what that feels like when you are taking the court, not just representing the team, but representing an entire area every single night, a city that the world watches on the regs. What does that opportunity, what does that privilege mean to you both? Josh, first.
Yeah, it's something that we take very seriously and very humbly. I always go into games with kind of a servant mentality and how I can help these guys get into the best positions that they can with, Kat, JB, Kel, OG, those guys. How can I help them be successful? And I feel like, this city is built on hardworking people that are willing to sacrifice, people that are willing to put their own individual success to the side for a common goal. And, so when I go out there and I look around and I look at the fans, I see myself in them. And that's the way, that's why I play as hard as I do. That's why I play with the passion that I do. 6'5",
6'3".
6'4" and a half. Kind of.
Standing on 10 boxes of Mike and Ike's.
Kind of athletic, for the league now. So I'm just like, I got here with that mentality, that hardworking mentality, and that's what this city is built on.
Kat, last word's yours.
I think about myself growing up, not having much money, and I think about me saving up all my money to watch a basketball game. And when I play now, I always think about that kid or that family that took a lot of their hard-earned money to go to a Knicks game, because like y'all said, it's an expensive ticket to get to, for sure. I understand. And I think about that kid, who and his family that have made the sacrifice to see us play. And I want to make sure I'm available, and I want to be able to give them the best version of myself that night. So every time I step on the court, I want to be the best, not only for my teammates, of course, for our team, but, for the fans. Y'all bring the best out of us, and y'all show up for us. So, I want to make sure I do that. And on top of that, as a man of God, I know what I do gets more attention than who I am, even though who I am is more important than what I do. And appreciate that. And, so I want to be able to show, not only the city, not the youth, but the world, that the love and the goodness we got in this city for the world. And I hope every night on the court, I show the talent that this team has and what I could, do to improve each other's lives and my brothers, and how we could be the best for our team, for the city. But I hope that also could be a model of what a man of Christ walks like. So that's really what I try to do.
Can I just say what he's just said to all of us in this room, to all of us in this city, being the best versions of ourselves. Like Naz said, nothing's equivalent to the New York state of mind. I want to say, gents, it's been an incredible joy, I think, for all of us, everybody watching at home, to share the stage with you tonight. Karl-Anthony Towns and Josh Hart! Let me give it you one more time. New York Knicks! I won't be clear, I am 6'6" when I stand up straight, right? Everybody tell everybody. My posture is just terrible. By the way, this has been some incredible night. It's a small image of what the Hudson River Derby is going to be. Saturday, September 27th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Can I be honest? I genuinely can't wait. First of all, I want to thank all of you in the room tonight. You have been so bloody joyous. When I was told we're going to do a rivalry show and invite New York City fans and Red Bull fans, I thought it was the most insane thing tonight. I want to thank you for being a room filled with love. You're amazing. I really do. I want to thank the team at Walmart for the support of tonight's show. I want to thank them for the investment that they're putting into the game. We need this in the United States. We need this in MLS. We need the growth of the domestic game. I think it's dear to all of our hearts. Let's celebrate fandom. Let's celebrate rivalries. Let's grow this game. I think that's something we can all get behind, right? We're going to be in Seattle next week. I honestly can't wait to revel in the Emerald City there. But I do want to say, this city, this place, this fan base, this sporting culture is so near and dear to my heart. Remember, I grew up dreaming of this city. I'd never been here, and I dreamt of it, and it shaped me without ever stepping foot here. We're all here tonight with a spirit that's best captured by the great Daniel Day-Lewis. Bill Butcher, he bellowed, "My father told me we was all born of blood and tribulation. And so then was our great city, Amsterdam." And it's true. It's incredibly true. Let's fight with love, New York City, as we have tonight. Love is all that matters. This is Rog, sending all of you big love and thanks and courage.